What's up, guys? So my last Crowfall video was a little bit negative, and I talked about how the best case scenario was that Crowfall gets sold to another developer. And it turns out that's exactly what happened. Crowfall was sold to a developer called Monumental. And Monumental is a mobile game developer with roughly 50 employees. This is me just going off LinkedIn, kind of looking around. They might have a little bit more than that. But what's most interesting about this acquisition is that they're bringing over the entire Crowfall team. So all of the people working on Crowfall now, it appears, are moving over to Monumental, which is pretty exciting. I don't know what that brings their staff up to. They might be at like 75, 80 people now. I'm not exactly sure how many people were working on Crowfall. But here's the crazy thing, is that both studios are based in Austin, Texas. And some of the old Crowfall developers from like the Kickstarter days, like 5 years ago, actually have a job at Monumental now. So there might be more Crowfall developers working on Crowfall now that it got sold to another company, because there are legacy developers at Monumental, which it's kind of weird. So maybe some of the old developers will work on Crowfall again. Who knows? So that's kind of an interesting little wrinkle there. But I definitely think the acquisition is a net positive. I think that there's going to be more content being made for the game because somebody believes in it enough to buy it. However, I do think there's going to be a natural wind-up time. I don't think we're going to see any like serious development happen until, I don't know, a good bit into the new year. But what's interesting about this whole thing is that it was bought by a guy named Monty Kerr, who is not a dog. In my research for this video, there is a Monty Kerr on Twitter that is a dog that has a thriving social media presence that with outrageous levels of engagement. So it got bought by the person, Monty Kerr, not the dog. And Monty Kerr is, before, he is a big mobile game guy. But what's really interesting is that he is an old Shadowbane fan from like a long time ago. And I talked to a few of the old Shadowbane guys, and apparently this is all legitimate. And he is an original $500 Kickstarter backer of Crowfall, just like me, and a big fan of these kind of games. So, but what he's most known for, as of recently, is mobile games. Now, his history, he started off at Origin Systems working on Ultima, then moved to Maxis for SimCity, then Play Studios. He made a company called Play Studios, and they made like gambling games, I think for like Las Vegas, like big casinos. And I think he sold that, or I guess he has equity or something. I don't know. They're actually like kind of a big deal. I think they're like a publicly traded company too. So I don't know if he's still involved in that. But then he moved to Red 5 Studios, which was probably the biggest. Red 5 Studios, he got us there, boys. The Firefall bus, Pimp My Ride. I think he came in afterwards, because I know Mark Kern. So he was the CEO of Red 5 Studios at one point, because I know Mark Kern, who is was the CEO. So I don't know. That whole thing was crazy. So let's move on from that. And then he moved on to Zynga Games, was the vice president of Zynga Games, and then now he is the CEO of Monumental. Now, many of you may look into this guy and like see he has a bunch of this guy literally has the patents for like almost every like evil video game practice that you probably hate, like all of like the gambling, like loot box kind of stuff. He has a lot of those patents. But what's interesting is that he's a fan of these PvP games, like a long time fan of these PvP games. And even me being my most cynical, like let's say this person truly is like an evil, evil person, like trying to just extract all the value out of Crowfall. Like, there's no way you can do that without making the game better. Like, there's no way, there's nothing there to like take. Like, you have to turn the game around and make players play the game before you can like do anything evil, right? So, like, there really isn't, even me being my most cynical, there really isn't any way that you can be evil without actually making the product good. So, whole thing is it's definitely going to be an interesting experiment to see what they do with the game and with the, Crowfall platform. Like, Crowfall's kind of like a weird game where they could go a bunch of different directions with it. And with the way a lot of like the power builder and just the game works in general, with the classes like kind of siloed the way they are, and like it's a PvP game, so you can be a little bit more crazy with the features you add. Like, they could do a lot of really weird, wacky stuff with it. So it's going to be interesting to see, what they do with it, because they bought the game. Like, they believe in the game. They're going to put money into the game and try and turn it around, because that's the only way you can make money with a game like Crowfall. There's no way you can, with Crowfall in it, with its current player base and like with its current like enthusiasm, I guess, like, there's no way you could just add some evil gambling system or add some skins. Like, there's no way you could do that and it would even be worth your time. Like, they have to turn the game around for that to even be a thing. And that's saying they even do it in the first place. So, they probably got Crowfall for a steal. I'm sure they did. But, there's really no way, like, they bought the game because they believe there's something there. So, the fact that somebody else is willing to put some time and money into it is exciting. Like, it genuinely is. Does this mean we'll see Zyback NFTs in Crowfall? Can I sell you my skull as an NFT? If so, I absolutely will. The world has gone absolutely crazy with this blockchain crypto NFT shit. So, I mean, who knows? Crowfall's like such a weird game that like truly anything can happen. I have no idea. And the fact that somebody bought it, that's really only a good thing. In my cursory research of this Monty Kerr individual, I did find a very interesting video called Maximizing Fraud in Online Games. Fraud is Your Friend. This is a video that was posted in 2013 with 120 views throughout all these years. 120 people watched it. I watched the whole thing all the way through. And you can tell this guy's a gamer. Like, whether you agree with, like, the gambling and the whatever stuff he's made, you can tell he's a gamer, because this whole TED Talk he gives is basically about how you can use your games, cheaters, botters, and fraudsters, to essentially make your game better. Like, that banning these individuals is not always the right move. You can actually use their data to make your product better. So, interesting little TED Talk. Will Gamble Daddy save the game? I don't know. Will he save the game? But it's better than the alternative, which was it just getting shut down and never having a second chance. So the fact that somebody is willing to buy the game, take all the developers over to continue their work on the game and put money into the game, that's pretty admirable. So I know a lot of people's first reaction is, "Oh, the fucking Zynga guy got it," but let's give him a chance, right? Like, come on.